So we've now had our chat on the pontoon, we're getting ready to actually leave. So it's really useful to actually have a routine, particularly if you haven't been afloat for a while. I find it really useful even now to make sure I actually run through before I start my engine up. So when I hop on board the boat, we've already done life jackets, bosun's already turned on the electrics for us. First thing I do is just turn on the electronics of the chart plotters, make sure I've got a depth sounder and my speed and everything. They take a minute or two to warm up, so if I turn them on now, they're working in the background whilst I'm getting ready. I'm also going to turn to my radio and just turn that on and make sure that's on as well, and check the channel. Next thing I'm going to do is get ready to start the engine so that it's warming up, and I use an acronym called NIGHTS. Don't mind what you use, but NIGHTS works for me, as in Shining Armour Knights with a K. Really important to remember that K. So the very first thing we do is K for Killcord. That's the red thing. We're going to put it round our leg. Get it fairly nice and tight because then it won't fall down your leg, it's just above the knee there. And it also means you can move around without actually pulling it off. So that's K for Killcord. N is for neutral. Now the engine shouldn't start unless we're in neutral. So if I just give it a very gentle check, I can see that it's actually in neutral there. The next letter is I for ignition. Now before I actually turn the key, I want to look at the engine, make sure it's down in the water, it hasn't been left up. And if I get in the habit of looking behind me, it means that if I'm at Studland, for example, I can check there aren't any swimmers at the back of the boat. It's unlikely here in the marina, but it just forms a good habit there. So that was K for Killcord, N for neutral, I is for ignition. So now we've checked the engine, we can turn it on. There we go. First thing in the morning, a little bit cold. It's all started nicely now. So that was K for Killcord, N for neutral, I for ignition, G is for gears. So before I leave, I'm just going to check I'm tied on quite nicely, which I can see that I am. I'm not going to use reverse because I've got a pontoon straight behind me here, but I'm just very gently going to pop the boat into forward gear and then back to neutral, and I can just check then that it's working fine. The gear's actually engaged. My next two letters come together, that's H and T, and that's for hot telltale. And that's a spurt of water that comes out the engine at the back. Now, if I lean down slightly on this boat, I can just see it in the space between the seat there, and the water's coming out the back. So remember, it's water cooled, so it's taking in water from the bottom, spurting it out, so I know the engine's working properly. So that was K for Killcord, N for neutral, I for ignition, G for gears, HT was hot telltale, that's a bit of water, and then finally S is for steering. And that's here, we just check that before I actually leave the pontoon, the engine's moving as I turn the wheel. Just make sure that the steering's actually working. So that's all my checks there. If this was the beginning of the day, I'd then just turn back to my chart plotter, make sure it's on the right screen now they've warmed up. That's on, and the radio's on. I would check that I've got plenty of fuel. And then finally, if it's the beginning of the day, certainly a boat I don't know, I would just pull the kill cord and just check that it works. And that way it also means that when I go to reattach it, I've checked that I know how it works in case I did that accidentally. Okay, so I note it all works, turn the key back off, and then I'd start the structure again and get ready to leave. So hopefully that acts as a nice reminder for you. Really good to have a routine, means you don't get distracted by things. Okay, I think it's time to let's go boating.